Australia's dead heart holds its strangest secrets. Under a sky of hard stars, red dunes breathe heat by day and chill by night. Out here, pilots spot a colossal figure carved into stone. Farmers find glossy black buttons born of ancient fire. A burnt cylinder falls from orbit into scrub. And in the opal fields, bones shine like rainbows. This is the story of the desert's most mysterious objects and the people trying to explain them. Our map points to three vast regions: South Australia, Western Australia, and outback New South Wales, where sand, salt, and stone keep extraordinary evidence in plain sight. First, the Maree Man, a 4-kilometer desert geoglyph etched into Gibber Plain near Maree, South Australia. Discovered by a pilot in 1998, it appeared without warning, no tracks, no claim of authorship. A modern mystery writ large on a stone canvas. The lines slice through ironstone pebbles, clean and deliberate. From ground level, it's almost invisible, but from the air, the figure commands the landscape. Precision without an identified maker, purpose unknown. Conservation efforts have rescored sections to prevent it fading back into the plain. The scale and secrecy still raise the same questions: who, how, and why here? Next, space junk. In July 1979, Skylab broke up over Western Australia. Fragments rained across the Nullarbor and near Baladonia. Charred metal cylinders and panels baked into red dirt. Earth meeting orbit in a fiery descent. Locals and tourists found scorched components embedded in the scrub. Some pieces ended up in small museum displays, a terrestrial trail left by a fallen laboratory. Then there are australites, natural glass button tektites scattered across arid plains. Formed about 790,000 years ago, when a colossal impact melted rock and hurled it skyward to cool as glossy droplets. Their aerodynamically ablated forms, domes, flanges, and buttons, record flight through the atmosphere. Each piece is a tiny data point from a prehistoric catastrophe. Found from the Nullarbor to central deserts, their spread maps, winds, and impact physics across the continent's dry heart. Finally, opalized fossils, ancient shells, bones. Even dinosaur remains replaced by silica and lit with color. In Coober Pedy and Lightning Ridge, miners pull prehistory from shafts as shimmering stone. Shells glow electric green. Vertebrae flash with fire. These specimens blur lines between geology and biology, artworks written by deep time and desert chemistry. Together, these finds, geoglyph, space debris, tektites, opalized life, form a ledger of impacts, ingenuity, and ancient seas now baked into stone. We'll ask simple questions with complex answers. Who made a giant figure only aircraft can read? How did a space station scatter across a red Earth? What impact forged glass across a continent? And what creatures, long gone, now return as color, pulled from shafts by miners chasing fire and stone? Across SA, WA, and Nest Stowlers, the Outback is a museum without walls, its exhibits scattered, weathered, and waiting for those who know how to look. The evidence is out there in the heat haze. Let's follow the tracks. In 1998, near the outback town of Maree in South Australia, something vast appeared on a remote plateau, an outline so large it could only be grasped from the air. Locals would soon call it the Maree Man. Carved as a single-line geoglyph around 4 kilometers tall, the figure depicts an Aboriginal hunter with spear and throwing stick, etched as furrows into the Gibber Plain. Its full scale resolves only from altitude. The discovery came from the sky. A local pilot noticed the outline during a routine flight. Word spread quickly as maps were marked and bearings pinned around Maree and the Oodnadatta track. Soon, anonymous faxes arrived at media outlets and officials. They used distinct Americanisms and offered coordinates, teasing clues that suggested planning and a desire to be noticed without being named. On the ground, the work bore marks of precision, survey-grade plotting, smooth arcs and radii, and clear bulldozer track impressions, indications of methodical layout using modern positioning tools. The geoglyph also raised legal and cultural questions about land status, permission, and respectful depiction, prompting official scrutiny alongside public curiosity. Wind and rain began to soften the cut lines. As seasons passed, edges slumped and dust drifted, gradually muting the figure's contrast against the plateau. Later, community efforts sought to preserve visibility, retouching and regrading sections with GPS guidance, while acknowledging cultural sensitivities tied to the subject and place. Despite investigation and many theories, the identity of the creator or team has never been confirmed. The authorship, like the landscape, remains open and unclaimed. Today, after rain or under low sun, the figure can still emerge from the plain. Scenic flights trace its outline, revealing the scale that ground level conceals. The record points to a few firm clues. Anonymous faxes with American phrasing, survey-precise geometry, and bulldozer tracks. Beyond that, the trail thins. Situated north of the Flinders Ranges, out toward the Udnadata Track, the merry man sits in wide, open country, a canvas measured in kilometers. The figure's subject, a traditional Aboriginal hunter, has prompted ongoing conversations about cultural respect, consent, and stewardship of place. Authorities reviewed the site and the claims around it. No creator has publicly stepped forward, and no definitive attribution has been established. As an outback landmark, it endures, part artwork, part riddle, its lines fading and returning with the weather, its story still unfinished. And at dusk, when the plain cools and the first stars rise, the giant outline seems to breathe with the country, quiet, unresolved, and unmistakably there. From the sky to the sands. In 1979, NASA's Skylab re-entered over Western Australia, its fiery breakup scattering debris across remote country near Esperance. Night turned to sparks across the atmosphere, and by morning, the desert held strange, scorched fragments. Locals found pieces on the sand and scrub. The Shire of Esperance even issued a tongue-in-cheek littering fine, news that traveled the world, while officials logged fines and boxed them for documentation. Maps highlighted impact zones near Esperance as authorities cataloged fragments, tag numbers, bagged evidence, chain of custody forms, turning a fireball into a paper trail. The desert holds other gifts from the sky. Across Australia's arid country, meteorites and a special kind of natural glass, tektites, dot the surface in vast strewn fields. Australites are famous for their aerodynamic button shapes, matte black, glassy, sometimes ringed with delicate flanges, formed by blazing flight through the atmosphere. These glasses are high silica natural melts from the Australasian impact event about 790,000 years ago, flung across half the globe, with the distal fringe landing here as Australites. In arid zones, wind and time strip the soil bare. Dark glass stands out against pale sand, letting strewn fields trace silent arcs across the interior. Field teams grid the landscape, walk transects, mark GPS points, photograph in situ, then bag and label each find. Back in the lab, calipers, balances, and microscopes take over. Weights, densities, surface textures, and morphologies recorded with museum-grade precision. Each specimen receives a number, provenance notes, and photographs. Data flow to registries and collections so other researchers can trace context and compare. Why deserts? Sparse vegetation, low corrosion, and high contrast preserve and reveal pieces that wetter climates would hide or destroy. Meteorites are rocks from space. Australites are impact glass from Earth materials launched by a colossal blast. Different origins, one sky story. Analyses, elemental, isotopic, microstructural, reconstruct the heat, speed, and paths that shape them. From a space station's fall to ancient impact glass, Australia's sands keep the record. If we walk, look, and log with care. And so the work continues, tracking, cataloging, and studying skyfall across remote, arid zones, turning chance finds into shared science. Unearthed in the outback, beneath red earth, Australia keeps extraordinary secrets. In arid opal fields, fossil bones and shells have turned to opal, iridescent blues and greens replacing ancient tissue. These gemstones record a deep-time story, when inland seas and floodplains once spread across the continent. Underground, miners and prospectors sometimes spot a glint in the wall, an opalized fragment revealed by a single lamp. In the lab, paleontologists scan, image, and model these pieces, reconstructing species and the wetlands they once inhabited. The desert also gives back human histories: sun-bleached vehicle chassis, aircraft fragments, and corroded tags resurfacing after storms. Each rediscovery is documented, coordinates recorded, provenance checked, and the site treated as a fragile archive. When dunes shift, ancient stone tools and camp surfaces may appear at the ground line, evidence of deep, continuous culture. These cultural places belong to traditional owners and are protected. Look, learn, and notify. Do not collect or disturb. Access to cultural heritage requires permission and proper protocols. Research proceeds with community leadership and consent. In this work, care is everything. Country is living, and knowledge is shared with respect. Opalized fossils continue to refine Australia's ancient map. Shorelines traced in color, lakes sketched in fire and water. Field surveys, imaging, and careful curation link specimens to landscapes and to stories held by communities. Together, science and stewardship reveal a continent shaped by water, time, and people. The outback still whispers. After wind and rain, new pages open for those who look carefully and responsibly. With respect to traditional owners, we continue to learn on country, at sunrise, under a wide sky.